Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of the Scratch and Track podcast presented by the Dude and Grim Show. I am the Dude.
And I am Grim, and I am happy to be with you on this day for the second installment of one of the best bands that sadly not a lot of people have heard of, and that is Mr. Bungle, talking about their second album, Disco Volante.
Yeah, dude. Now, first of all, Grim, we would definitely like everyone to go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment.
Yeah, I mean, if you're watching this is the second Mr. Bungle album we're discussing. I'm sure we'll get through them all.
Well, actually, the third.
Yeah, the second one we're scratching.
Yes. So if you haven't checked out our, I guess, Scratch on California, that was one of the first episodes I think we did when we started doing video.
It really started going viral.
Yeah, we did. It was just blew up. And then we also did a first impressions of the Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny demo, the new version that just came out.
Not the demo.
Yeah, check out that version of it. I think it came out probably on a Friday. We listened to it once or twice, and then we recorded an episode. So that is our first initial impressions of the episode. So if you watch that one, don't judge too harshly. It's not a full scratch, but we will do that down the road. But we really wanted to kind of take a step back because I know California is. I consider California in my top 10 favorite albums of all time.
I was really actually gonna throw it in the top 5 of all time for me. Just a brilliant piece.
It's unbelievable. I want to do take a step back and get back to the roots. Right?
And when I do finally get that one on vinyl, it's gonna be one of those ones where like I'm gonna realize that there's only so much to that vinyl and that eventually I'll wear it out. So it's like I'm really going to have to like be particular about when I put it on, because that every time you listen to it, it's one less time you can listen to it.
I think you should
not to be a
pessimist. You should just buy 2 copies.
I was thinking about it, just leaving one wrapped up. Like if I ever make a time capsule, that is going in there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. Well, so today though, we're going to talk about Disco Volante. And I know both you and I we heavily gravitate towards California, and I'm not as I guess well versed in probably this album as I have been in California. But it was really cool, kind of getting back to this. I'd listened to it I think a while ago, and then put it down for a bit. But then now over the past few weeks, I've really listened to it again a few more times. And I had a much better experience, I think, this time listening to it than I have in the past. And I think
I'll agree with that.
I saw little certain things where you could kind of see where they were going and how they got to some of the things that they did in California. There's certain parts of songs and sections where I was like, oh, that almost sounds like this could be like a little bit of a demo for some of the songs that did come into California. Dude,
there are moments of just pure brilliance on this album. But
it's not for everyone.
No, it's surrounded by some interesting moments too. And I feel like the only way I can say it, I think I had read somewhere that someone compared it to like a David Lynch movie, but in audio form.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Sure.
I guess I was gonna say like if an evil cartoon had a soundtrack, this is Absolutely. That soundtrack.
Yeah. I think some of the songs are. I forget what I said about. I don't know if it was Ars Moriendi or Air Conditioned Nightmare. I was like, it sounds like a cartoon on acid being played backwards.
Yeah.
Like, it has this cartoonish live. Evil, dark sort of feeling, twisted maybe, and just an unbelievable organization of sounds and instruments and genres, kind of all being thrown together.
It's as much of a soundscape as it is an album, I think.
Absolutely.
I mean, most of it doesn't even have English language words in it.
And if they are, they're not overly discernible.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'm not going to give away my scratch, but I will say that one of the songs that does have clear English words, I may be able to live without. Now, you can only guess what that one is, so please put your guesses below with your comments.
Yes. We would love that. After you like and subscribe, of course.
Yeah.
For me, and I hate to, I know we're talking about Disco Volante, but I can't, it's hard for me to talk about this album and not compare it sort of to California, where I feel like there's some songs on California that are more accessible. That not to say that you would hear them like radio play, because I think you started getting into the definition of what constitutes an actual song.
I hear what you're saying. I think,
and I don't like it. No, I'm just kidding.
I think, well, there's a couple things that I think you're saying. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that this album was released in 1995, specifically October 10 of 1995. Now, just for context, to further illustrate how much of an intense artistic statement this is, let's look at some of the other releases of 1995 so you could get a context. Oasis, What's the Story, Morning Glory, Whoa. Bjork's Post. Can you see how? It's like Charles Barkley in that skit. Dude, Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, The Bends, Jagged Little Pill, Liquid Swords, Me Against the World. I mean,
by Tupac.
Yeah, by Tupac. Yeah. Dude.
Tupac's Me Against the World.
Red Hot Chili Peppers, One Hot Minute. I mean,
okay.
White Zombies, Astro Creep 2000, for God's sakes. I mean, it's just, when you think about like what else is coming out, if somebody just went to the record store and picked this album up and were like, oh, this looks cool, they would have been like, what the fuck is happening right now?
Yeah. Like, what if you like mistakenly just put this one in your cart?
Dude, it was like when you picked up that Jimi Hendrix and Jim Morrison live CD and you were just like, whoa, that just happened.
They were on a weird trip.
And thank God someone was there to record it.
Yeah.
So
right? It just needs to be heard.
And dude, honestly, thank God someone was there to record this. And although we talked about it and you said you felt there were some discrepancies, I still do think it's really a well-produced album, especially
100%.
Considering all the crazy influences in sound and sound quality. You're not just like, miking up a kit and a guitar cab and a bass cab and throwing a vocal mic up, maybe DI and a keyboard. Like, there's
like, hey, let's knock this one out live.
You're like, dude, make sure you save like blank tracks for the penny whistle and the fucking mouse trap and like whatever else you're gonna hear.
There's accordion. I think there's cello. There's a lot of some stand up bass. I mean, those
are the normal things though. There's like sounds of fireworks and shit on here.
It's sounds you don't even want to know about.
And I kind of would like to see those sessions, but anyways, it's weird because I think listening to the Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny demo, you can hear like their real like roots in metal. Yeah.
Oh, dude,
and totally, you can hear that here, but then they go into these just interesting other places and textures. And to me, there are some like metal parts that I like, but most of the parts that I find like the most satisfying in the album are these weird places that they go into, even after the start of some of the songs, which can be off-putting to some.
Sure, yeah, this album definitely has a lot of peaks and valleys where I feel like if you think about the Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny demo, that is just like peak. I feel like the whole album, right? Like it's just like it's there, it's in your face, and I know you. I think similar to me, I'm not an intense like metal person. That's not typically what I listen to. But with that album, if people haven't listened to that, for that genre, dude, it's fucking good, man.
Yeah,
like
it really is.
Like they got it right. They got it. So I do totally dig that, but. So anyways, getting back to Disco Volante.
The name,
the title, Grim.
The
title,
dude. The title. I thought here, of course. Did
you know that before you did research?
Oh, like absolutely, dude. Yes, I mean I've been watching the James Bond movies since I was a kid, and dude, Thunderball is, even if it's one of the greats, even if Sean Connery is not your favorite Bond, it is, even though it's like there's stuff that's cheesy when you look at it all in retrospect. It's still one of the best Bond movies, no question. And it was funny because I was thinking about that, and I was like, "Oh, I got a nice nugget about this album. I don't know if that's going to be out there." And I'm like, and then you read the article, and I'm like, and you obviously forgot that we live in the time of the internet, and everybody knows everything, you dipshit.
Yeah,
me being the dipshit in that scenario.
Yeah.
I didn't like drop some brilliant nugget, even though I thought it was cool.
No. Well, the cool thing is, though, Disco Volante stands for flying saucer in Italian. But to take that one step further, I mean, dude, the band is like a huge fan of the film, because then they also did a cover of the film's theme song.
Yeah.
And I guess it is on the is it like a demos release? They have a Mr. Bungle demo, like rough mixes album, and it made that. How's your cat? How's wishes?
Really,
but also, so where I found it was that on Apple Music they have an album called Cover Bond. And that includes basically a bunch of different artists covering the Bond theme songs. And
did they use theirs?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And actually, it sounds like a live version of it.
I think I've heard that then.
Because at the end, you can kind of hear, they say, I forget exactly what they say, but there's something said at the end. Oh, I think it's like Mike Patton says thanks for coming or something at the end. You kind of hear a crowd and applause in the back. But dude, check out, Bjork did a cover of You Only Live Twice and sounds fucking good.
I bet.
Dude, check this one out, dude. Adam Sandler does a version and Nobody Does It Better, which is also live.
That's incredible.
In Radiohead, I had a bootleg in college. I had a bootleg recording of them doing Nobody Does It Better also live.
Okay, pop quiz. What Bond movie is that from?
I'll give you. Fuck. Okay, I can't. I don't know.
The Spy Who Loved Me, dude.
Fuck. Well, for Bond fans, No Time to Die is going to be coming out, I think, in October. So if you guys are Bond fans, we have a little trick up our sleeve to discuss the songs of the Bond movies, and we're selecting them by each person who played each Bond. So we'll be like, hey, what's the best Bond song from Sean Connery's Bond movies and Daniel Craig's and Timothy Dalton's? And
now we're going to ask you, who sang the original cut of Thunderball? Who sang it?
Who sang it?
Think about that one. Fucking
anyways,
Tom
if you're
Jones.
If you're a Bond fan, stay tuned. That's going to be coming out in probably September, early October, right before No Time to Die drops.
Now, I also think there was an automobile, El Deuterino, called the Disco Volante, which was an Alfa Romeo. And it looks like it's an old Alfa Romeo, I believe, and it looks like a flying saucer, which kind of goes with the, Disco Volante name.
Definitely.
Now, when you think about that, if you think that, okay, so Alfa Romeo, I'm pretty sure it's an Italian car company. So they release a car. Could you imagine if Ford came out with a car and it was like the Ford Flying Saucer? Like when you put it in that context, it's kind of weird, but it's funny.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd be into that. I'd need to test drive it first, I think.
Yeah.
Well, so Grim, maybe before we get into the tracks, I think this album does have an interesting sort of story in the record that was created. It's a very unique record, and maybe you would like to explain that a little bit, because this album does have some hidden tracks, and they wanted to be very creative in kind of how they put that on the CD, but also how they put that on the LP. So drop it like it's hot.
Yeah, I do. This was the first I had ever read about that.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it before either.
No, it was very interesting. Like a set, what did they call it? A secondary groove?
Double groove, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. So groove. It's like you'd really have to just like, be
so precise. And I believe, what is it on the call? It's on Gary's Stress in the Jaw. It has the song, or I guess the hidden track is called Spy.
Dude.
And so on the record, there's like a double groove. And if you're playing it, I think regularly, I want to say, and if anybody out there knows this for sure, if you're playing it regularly on the LP, I think it probably just plays Carry Stress in the Jaw. But I think you might have to manually move it over into the other groove to hear the song Spy. Now, this is on the LP.
Which, I'm sorry, that is stupid, because that is, in my opinion, that is the best 4 minutes of the entire album, is that song.
Oh, well, okay.
I think that song's amazing. Like that's my favorite part of the album. They got like an electric harpsichord or something in there that comes in, and it just,
Dude, Spy is great. I dig it.
It's awesome.
I think it's.
I can't think of a part in the album that to me is better than that.
And dude, to me, well, I'll talk about it when we kind of get into the track, but it sounds really, really cool.
It sounds like it should have been in Disco Volante, honestly. The movie.
Well, it was. Oh, okay, yeah. The movie.
The movie, dude.
The movie. So here's the thing. There is also a. I found out, and I don't know if I pulled this from the episode. There's an episode by the Vinyl Guide, who has a YouTube channel, that I thought they did an excellent job of comparing the original Warner Brothers LP to it was sort of like a European, I don't know if it's a knockoff, but it was a repressing. But he did a really good job of listening to both of them, but also comparing the jacket covers and everything, and just talking about sort of the differences. So I would definitely check that out. But he speculates that they didn't remaster or remix or use the master tapes, and instead maybe used the CD, which is not going to get you sort of the quality
I could see
that you would want.
That honestly makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah. So, and also that reissue doesn't contain the double groove,
which is actually
Spy.
a fucking plus. Let's not kid ourselves.
It is. So a couple of things though that I guess that are interesting also about the LP is that, or actually about the CD. So on the CD, when they created it, it sounds like they wanted to do a pre-roll, which is sort of like Queens of the Stone Age did on Songs for the Deaf, where you can kind of rewind it back. Apparently though, that process, whatever that process is patented, and they didn't want to pay a license or royalties. So they decided not to do that. And so that's why in the CD, I guess it plays, right after. I'm looking at the track listing right here, and what I have is just Carry Stress in the Jaw. It doesn't say anything about Spy, but
correct.
Obviously, but it plays right after it. It plays right after it. So,
well, honestly, dude, with the way the album is and the track, it's, anything could really go anywhere. Like, there's no point in the album where I'm like, oh my God, if Nerve Damage didn't come for Dweck for guitar and Oxygen Tank, the fucking album would be ruined.
It's done.
Yeah.
It's definitely done. Well, another thing that I think they talk about it on that episode, the Vinyl Guide, in the Warner Brothers pressing, to fit everything on the LP, they actually had to take Platypus off, which was the single. And so when you bought the LP, you had the regular, album, but Platypus itself was on a 45 that just came along with it.
Interesting.
So I thought that was kind of trippy.
I would imagine the fans were in a fucking upheaval over that one.
I'd also, that's another thing, and that goes back to, so I have a copy of California here, which is amazing, and this is it's a reissue. The company is Music on Vinyl that remastered it. It sounds pristine, and I've seen in the store that they have Disco Volante. And Music on Vinyl also did a reissue of that. Now, I don't know any details. It'd be awesome to know if any of you out there have details of what that is like. Do they fit it all on one record? Does it come with an LP? Do they put Platypus on a 45? And also, did they do the double groove? There's so many questions that
did they remaster
answers.
it into a better album? We don't know.
Dude, there's people out there who think this is their best work, so let's not offend them.
Oh, it's not about offending anyone. I mean, I think
tongue in cheek, everyone.
I think number one that, but number two, when you release music like that, I'm sorry, you can't take it as serious as, like Samuel Barber's Adagio for Strings or something. It's just different. It's like a movie. It's like an audio movie. For what it is, it's incredible. But I mean,
it's something you just need to experience. Like trying to describe it to someone is very difficult. It's like, no, you just need to sit down, take an hour, and listen to this. And
I would. I would, if you had like a long layover at a weird airport in another country, that would be a really good place. Probably to listen to this.
Or if you're on a flight and before you take off, the pilot's like, hey, we're going to be experiencing some turbulence. I would recommend putting this on like really loud while you're flying through the turbulence because it'll fit that mood really well.
Yeah.
All right, Grim. I think we've talked enough about the behind the album stuff. I'm sure there's some things maybe we missed. If
the
people
groove
have any
behind the groove.
The groove behind the groove. So right now, folks, if you haven't been here before, we're going to go through each track. We're going to talk a little bit about them. And then we're going to talk about, hey, if your album got scratched, what track could you live without? So I have a few in mind. Grim, I hope you do too, in case we go to overtime. So let's roll it with track number one. Everyone I went to high school with is dead, which just a really uplifting.
I know. I do really enjoy that title. And at some point, if you're the last one, you may be able to say that in your life. But coming in pretty intensely,
hot and heavy, man,
furiously. Yeah.
As you would expect, though, and if you listen to the words, it actually does. It sounds like your typical high school student outcast, right? Like that's. I mean, it's just kind of what those words are. But it's like this very harsh, like marching music. Vocals are saying off in the distance, dude. It sounds like people are singing like way off,
farther away than Isaac Brock would stand. For the background vocals. I feel like this album is, dude, if California and the Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny demo had a baby and while the mom was pregnant, she was drinking and smoking a lot.
That could be the case.
That is what I get from it a lot. So going into My Chemical Marriage, because that kind of, to me, or not My Chemical Marriage, that's funny, but Chemical Marriage. One thing I really like about this is the sound of the Hammond organ is just really wonderfully creepy, like an old horror movie. It's very well done.
I found that in a lot of the songs on this album that it did sound kind of like you could be like, man, you could pluck that out and put that in a horror film or in just a lot of soundtracks. I mean, we'll get to some other ones where I'm dude, that could be in I think it's Violenza Domestica. I was like, oh, that could be in some like Italian movie soundtrack, and I'd be like, that's
and perfect. Even if you use the clip, dude, honestly, if I was in that business of like the guy who did the music for movies, this would be like us throwing in Wayne's World quotes. I would put something from this album in every movie I was ever a part of ever. No question.
Yeah. Even subliminally, just be like, no, we need to tuck it in there.
Yeah, no, not Spy. I want the heavy part of Carry Stress in the Jaw.
Exactly. Yes. So the thing with me for Chemical Marriage, there's a few parts in it that really remind me of None of Them Knew They Were Robots from California. Just little tweaks here and there. Like I was like, oh wow.
I feel like this whole album was building to that song. Honestly, more so than maybe that one and
Air Conditioner, Ars Morandi. Yeah, Ars. Fuck, dude. Listening to this album again just really made me want to fucking just blast California.
I know.
Just so my neighbors can be like, whoa,
yeah,
whoa.
Yeah. He must have went to the record store today.
Yeah, he definitely did. But yeah, Chemical Marriage, dude, it's got that kind of that circus organ going on, you know. And dude, they also, a couple of these songs, the first song and this song also have like sort of those fucked up kind of back endings where there's just like chaos going on and weird sounds and shit. Dude, it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
So then we move on to Sleep, part 2, which is actually Carry Stress in the Jaw. Although
I like the title.
Yeah. Carry Stress in the Jaw.
Yeah, I know. Very interesting title.
Fucking do, man.
I know. And I honestly, again, like, dude, Spy, like, to me, the whole album up to now, I'm kind of like, whew, this is a lot to take in. But then when Spy comes up, I'm like, oh, dude, so brilliant.
Dude, so, I mean, it starts off and it's got the saxophone. And I also think it sounds like they have like a stand-up bass. I swear I hear stand-up bass in it. And I really wish, if that's what I'm hearing, I really wish they would have brought that out a little more into the forefront.
Yeah.
Because I think it would have sort of accentuated the contrast between that and then when the fucking metal guitar comes in and it's just shredding. Like that transition, dude.
You know, every decibel of boost that you give the stand-up bass, that's just less that the fucking duck call can have. You know, it's just a real fine balance, dude.
Do you think the bass is taken away from my vocals?
Yeah. Now, Desert Search for Techno Allah is obviously
we didn't talk about Spy. We need to talk about Spy.
Oh, I thought I mean,
we kind of did a little bit. Yeah. But that is
pure brilliance. Like the best part of the album done.
Yeah, it starts, I think, about 5 minutes into the track, and dude, it sounds like this 50s or 60s like
awesome.
European like spy movie sound. It just does. It's so good. It's fucking great, man.
I actually, if I would have put the album together, I would have issued the vinyl and then just Spy on the 45 with like a note that says, "This will pretty much cover you." Like,
yeah. If you can't make it through the full album, just listen to this. Yeah. Repeat. Yeah. So, anyways, track 4, Desert Storm Ninja. No, it's not this. Desert Search for Techno Allah.
Can't get to the next level, dude. Now I think I like the game that you said of what song on California was this the predecessor of. So this is clearly Ars Morandi.
There's Morandi.
I mean,
yeah, I could definitely see that. Dude, I love the groove of it though. And
I do too.
The synth,
I know,
has such a nice fucking fuzz on it, man. It's real good. It's real rich, right?
I remember Joe Brew. He got me hooked up with Mr. Bungle, and this was one of the ones he gave me. He was like, dude, you have to listen to this song.
Oh,
now I didn't hear
this song.
I didn't hear the whole album at the time, but yeah, I heard this song, and I was kind of like, "Oof, that is something." And the name is wonderful too.
It's pretty solid. I'm a fan. I am a fan. Moving on to track 5, Violenza Domestica. What do you think that translates into?
Domestic violence, is the first thing that comes to mind. Now, one thing that I think is interesting from the soundscape perspective, dude, when he's like the knife in the fork or whatever, like at the.
I don't know if I remember that part.
It's like what do they call those videos, like ASDR or some shit? You know what I'm talking about?
No. I'm gonna.
Dude.
Okay.
ASMR, I think, but they're these weird videos that you can find on like YouTube, and if you listen to them in headphones, it's like one of those. It's stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response, and it's just one of those things that, like, as you hear it, you can just feel it. You know, like if somebody like really recorded well nails on a chalkboard and had it like pan across your head as you listen to it, it would just evoke like a physical response in you. You know what I mean? And that's how I feel with the knife, like the.
Okay, that makes sense. I dig it. Yeah, I mean, dude, this song. I mean, I know it has an Italian title, and that seems to be sort of a theme with this film a little bit, or the film.
Well, and I hear domestic violence is big over there.
I didn't know that. Is it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Jeez. All right. Have you seen The Godfather? No. Yeah. But dude, this song, dude, with the accordion is really fucking cool, man. I dig it.
And that's the thing, like, and then they go into that part with like that. It sounds like some sort of weird, like dark lounge electric piano. Dude, that's what I'm saying. They all go into these really interesting things where if you put songs in movies, you could put this in every movie you ever made. Just this album
belongs to the Tarantino movie.
Absolutely.
Like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, when they were over in Italy and he was making, his Italian spy movie.
I don't know who fucking should have got fired there, because, dude, Mr. Bungle, Quentin. Like, give him some love, dude.
QT dropping the ball. Come on, QT.
Yeah, man.
He needs to hang out with more Danny DeVito, because Danny DeVito knows about fucking Mr. Bungle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's correct.
So, anyways, After School Special.
Nice organ intro. Dude, possibly the weirdest lyrics I've ever heard.
I didn't do a deep dive into the lyrics, but okay.
Well, I mean, you can just hear, what does he say? Like, my mom is better than your mom and your dad too.
Sorry.
Like, when I heard that, I was like, what the fuck?
Dude, I should apologize. Yeah, I do recognize those lyrics.
Yeah, you know what I said? I said,
because they actually, this song has sort of like real singing to it. And it starts off, it's probably, the beginning of it is very digestible. Now, maybe towards the end, not so much. But definitely in the beginning, you're like, wow, and I hate to say that, it sounds like a real song. But when I think of your typical music person who, if you started playing it for them, they wouldn't be like, turn this the fuck off, right?
They wouldn't be like somebody like took backwards tape and mixed it to the audio of for Gremlins or something.
Dude, also in the middle of this song, there's this kind of guitar picking, and it really reminds me of, I forget the song, but a song off In Utero really reminds me of this kind of like out-of-tune guitar picking, and I forget what song that's
Apprentice.
Is it Scentless Apprentice?
I mean, it's pretty. That one really gives me like a feeling of claustrophobia when I hear
the whole album. Really, such a good album though. Fuck, man.
Yeah,
need to pick up that on vinyl. I almost bought that on vinyl this week. Almost didn't. Drop the ball. Moving on to, this is considered Sleep Part 3. Which is what?
Phlegmatics.
Phlegmatics. Dude, starts off with a real hard metal sound, but then, I like when the guitar comes in too. It's it gets a little chill. I don't know if it's an acoustic guitar at some point that comes in and they're running it through something. I don't know, but there's some interesting sounds that they're making with the guitar. I don't know if it's filters or whatever on an electric, or it's an acoustic that they kind of fuck with, but I
have to listen back to that.
Yeah, it's
We'll call also a panel of experts.
Yeah, what do you guys think? Yes,
Yeah, seriously, if anyone has any opinions on that, if you've made it this far,
we would love it. Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, who hasn't? I mean, we've probably picked up 10 subscribers. So, but also, I believe this song has there's some horns and stuff going on. I think it has an oboe in it. I'm kind of think that's what that is. But
yeah,
again, a lot of times there's so much going on. It's hard to discern like actually like what I'm listening to. Not in a bad way.
I know. It is just dense. Now, after that, I can't remember if it was, I kind of confused the two. So, Meeshka Mow Skwoz and Violenza Domestica. I don't remember, but one of those comes in with the sound of those like knives. I can't remember which one. So,
okay.
If I was mistaken, I mean, forgive me.
What the fuck is that shit?
Well, dude, so this one also, I think this might actually be my favorite song on the album.
This was one that I got, and it was so weird. And dude, I love what they do with that.
It's ending. The cartoons on acid, man. It just is. It's the production
when they get that, that's like dude, none of them knew they were robots with those cartoon sounds in there.
100%, dude. It really is. And I just love. That's what I love about it. It just sounds so cool. Like
some of like the xylophone. Bloop, bloop, bloop. I mean, there is some really impressive musicianship in a lot of the album. I mean, there really is.
Well, and I forget what song it was off. Was it? We talked about it during our 9 Inch Nails, I think, Fragile episode, where they selected one of the songs. Is it Somewhat Damaged to play to when they were torturing people?
Oh, yeah. I would play this.
Yeah. I was like, dude, this is the song. You want to
I would actually just fucking play the album. And probably the vinyl, because I wouldn't want him to hear Spy and be like, fuck, that's awesome.
Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe not.
So the vinyl, though. Yeah.
The vinyl version of Disco Volante, not the compact disc or the cassette. No. Okay. All right. Well, now we're going to move on to the Bends, and we are not talking about Radiohead's The Bends.
But what we are talking about is clearly this is going to be an episode of songs with the same name at some point, because ironically, both released in 1995. I mean, the similarities here are crazy. And to think that Anthony Kiedis was pissed about Californication versus California in 99. Radiohead didn't say shit about the Bends.
No, Radio was like, "Hey, we're cool. Like, you know, you're taking the song of the name of the song from our album and the self-titled track."
I know, but they were like, but we didn't have ours broken down into 10 equal parts with names like Aqua Swing, Follow the Bubbles, and Duet for Guitar and Oxygen Tank. So,
well, dude, I mean, here's the thing. It's a 10-minute song, and each section, though, is broken up really nicely. Like, it kind of fades out and fades back in, and it tells a story.
I know. And some of the parts are awesome.
And some of them are like, but
it's like, imagine if Revolution 9 didn't suck.
Imagine if Revolution 9 made sense.
Yeah. I guess you couldn't have the Bends without Revolution 9. They had to hear something and be like, this sucks. I can do better. Check out this part I have called Screaming Bends and Love on the Event Horizon.
Dude, Re-Entry, Panic in the Blue. Dude, it's awesome. I never want the Bend. Doesn't sound fun.
No, it doesn't.
If this song is anything like what it feels, then I really don't want any part of it. So I think we just need to move on.
It kills people, yeah.
It doesn't sound good. All right, dude, let's do the fucking backstroke, bro.
Backstroking, yeah.
Dude, so it starts off, man. It's got some reverse sounds going on. Getting a little, but the song also gets into this, I guess I'll call this sort of loungy little swing type kind of groove. And I like that. I always like that kind of sound. It's kind of it's a fun little song. It's short. It's like after the Bends, they're like, hey, we just got you through a 10.5-minute song, we're just going to drop a little 2.5-minute one on you. We don't want to overwhelm you. You need some recovery time from the bends. So, so Backstrokin. So, is that you got anything, or you just want to move on to the hot hit single Platypus?
I can't see. I lost my 45, so it was really awesome to start listening to this streaming again, because it's like I got, I get so sick of fucking with that extra groove. Oh, making it come out of the nose.
See, my problem was I didn't lose the 45. I got the 45. I lost the little centerpiece that, you put on the turntable, and then you put the 45 on.
Yeah.
So that's,
And you tried getting one of those things from like a fucking cup at McDonald's and just kind of sticking it in. Yeah, but it
didn't work.
It's somewhere in between the small and the medium. I don't know.
It's like using a Ziploc bag for a hat. Just don't do it.
No. As I'm looking at this piece of ice looks like the Death Star. I realized I really want Old Fashions on tap. I'll pre-mix them. And just get like
do it.
Not pressurize, just enough to just pump it in, and it's.
I think that's a reasonable request.
I do too.
All right, so back to the hit single Platypus. It starts off. It's sort of like an accessible metal song.
Yeah,
and it does transition into this. It goes a lot of places, so I can see why they were like, "Hey, this should be the single. This is what we need to put out to represent the album," because you get the silly cartoon sounds.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. Almost.
Yeah. It's it's like Superman ice cream, right? It's just you're getting it all.
Wow.
Yeah, I went there.
You like Superman or Neapolitan better?
Ooh,
I know.
Well, Neapolitan, you get more flavors, where Superman is just more about the colors, I think.
I agree with you.
I feel like it's the same flavor no matter what color you lick.
Right? I'm not gonna lie. Anytime if one of my kids is like, "I want Superman," I'm like, you might want to think, like, do you really want Superman?
I know it looks cool, but like, what flavor is it?
They have fucking cookie dough, man, and you're gonna get this shit.
Yeah. Anyways, so
Merry go bye bye.
Oh no, but I was gonna say, dude, Platypus is like this, dude. It's this jazz odyssey. It's kind of like. So here's the thing. It's kind of like what Spinal Tap Mark II would have been if Nigel hadn't rejoined the band, if they hadn't had a hit over in Japan or wherever. It was, right? Yeah. So that's probably where they
big pull right there
would have gone.
Big pull.
So Nigel Tufnell would have wrote it probably.
Yeah,
don't you think,
or at least the heavy parts.
Nigel. Derek Smalls would have written this. Yeah, Nigel. Yeah. Sorry, I'm mixing up all the characters.
It's all right.
Let's close out the album, Grim. Let's close it out.
Merry go bye.
Well, this is, you could say, is the last track, but there's also a hidden track.
Oh, are you speaking of Spruance?
Is that what, dude? I swear it has a bunch of fucking names. Like on my thing here, it's called Noises.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Yes,
it's I think somebody else in another place. It's called Nothing or something. So I don't know. I don't know what people call it. But anyways, so Merry Go Bye Bye. Yeah, it's
clocking in at the longest song in the album. Even if you take away the minute of silence.
The minute of silence, that's true.
Which I like that. I mean, it's kind of like a,
it's a good bridge.
Yeah.
You just need to take a breath. Take a breath.
Take a moment of silence.
This song is kind of hilarious though. Like the opening is really, really funny. But then it goes, gets crazy, gets a little metally. But I think it's good. It reminds me certain parts of a little bit. You hear the raging wrath of Easter Bunny, right? You hear that kind of
how pissed off he was. Yeah,
just kind of like poking his head out, being like, "Hey, motherfuckers, I'm here over here. Don't forget about me. Like I'm here." And if you didn't hear our demo, like from way back in the day, don't worry. In 2020, I'm going to be coming up with a polished, like real version of it. So
Yeah, it sounded good.
It's very prophetic in that sense.
Yeah.
There's also parts where I feel like they're really kind of paying homage to Cannibal Corpse. There's some parts where I'm just like, whoa,
like grumbling, right. A lot of grumbling.
Yeah, and I'm just like, hey, is Greg here? I don't know. He probably is. I'm not sure. Yeah, thank you. Then we take a moment of silence. We take our minute, and we have the hidden track. I can't say much for the hidden track here. It is kind of this just like silly sort of warm up in the studio. They're all fucked up.
Yeah.
Dude, basically, it's like if I got super hammered and me, who's not a musician, got behind the drum kit and was like, hey guys, I got this. Like, you know, I can do it. And it's just kind of playing some stuff, and then you got some other guys in the background, and they're just kind of like laughing and fucking around.
They're just playing
pretty much
stuff.
what the hidden track is in my mind. So, yeah. So that's that. Whew. I feel like, dude, we made it. We made it through the gauntlet. Dude, look at us. And we kept it under an hour. Good for us.
Yeah.
Should we stretch it out and just kind of, no.
I felt like I was kind of going on enough tangents. But if you want me to tell you about like more where I would do the tap old fashioned, I can. But we should probably just scratch.
That deserves its own episode. So.
Oh, shit.
All right. I don't know. Whose turn?
I'm going to put you up on the tee.
All right. Fucking fine. I do have a backup.
Oh, wow. You're thinking a possible OT.
It's possible. I do have a backup, but I will admit I'm fully rethinking the backup now after we just discussed the song. I'm like, fuck. Yeah, I know. But so I'm going to chop off the last part of the Sleep trilogy, Phlegmatics.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I can't say, with an album like this, I can't make the argument, oh, will it really ruin the flow for me? You know, that's or it's like the hit single that I've just heard too many times.
You're like, God, if I hadn't heard that on alternative rock radio so fucking much.
Yeah, it'd still be on. But yeah, I just think there's other really good songs, and I love with after going from After School Special and right into Meeshka Mow Skwoz. I don't even know how to say that. That is like my favorite song. So I can basically say, I really want to get to that track. Mm-hmm. So that is my scratch. Sleep Part 3, Phlegmatics.
Well, okay. We are not going to overtime because, I mean, who the fuck are we kidding? I'm going right before that and scratching After School Special. I know that in so many ways it's one of the more accessible songs in terms of it resembles what people are used to as a pop/rock kind of a song in terms of format and stuff, even if they think it's weird as shit. I don't like the vocals, and I think that it does disrupt the flow because I'm not hearing like fucking laser guns and fucking knives being thrown at a wall and shit. You're
not hearing a dump truck driving through a nitroglycerin plant. Yeah, exactly. It's, Yeah. Exactly.
It really kind of throws me off. I'm just really getting into this fucking like Zen moment with the rest of the album.
Dude, you're zenning the fuck out, and then they're talking about your mom, and you're like, dude, totally takes you out. Takes you out. The song itself, especially for an album like this, I think the issue that, and I can't argue with you, is that there's a portion of it that is almost too accessible.
Yeah. It was like, Jesus, I didn't know this was a fucking pot, like Now Volume 58.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Just like that.
Now that's what I call music. Those horrible compilations of everything that I don't want to listen to.
Yeah. It's not like, dude, they're coming out with fucking jock jams. Dude, how good were those?
Yeah. Yeah, good really place for a song like Follow the Bubbles.
Hey. Yeah. All right, Grim. Well, I think that officially scratches Disco Volante by Mr. Bungle. Now, we hope that you guys have followed us this long. And maybe you agree with us. Maybe you disagree with us. Maybe you think we're full of shit. It's quite possible that we could be.
All of the above are fine.
But feel free to comment below and let us know. Because if anything, it'll just help the algorithm. So
tell me why I'm wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
And what track would you guys scratch? Is this your
fucking duet for guitar and oxygen tank is off the table?
All right. We're wrapping it up here.
Yeah.
Where do you place this album in the Bungle catalog? Is this sort of like, is this your warm up to California? Is this one that you put ahead of that? Do you prefer more of the thrash metal of Raging Bunny demo, Easter
you
Bunny
just
demo?
Fucked yourself there.
It's a long title. I know. Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny
probably
demo.
last. I think I'm gonna comfortably say last.
I wasn't asking you. I was asking them.
Oh, okay. What about you though? For real, it's okay. It's okay to have an opinion, even in in the year of our Lord 2021.
I'm gonna go California Raging Wrath. This one, I need some more time with the self-titled album.
A lot of people consider it very influential.
Is it? In what? Like where they went or where they wanted to go?
Only God knows.
All right. Okay, Grim. We got to tune out so everyone else can tune in. You cool with that?
I'm ready to tune out, man.
Cool. All right, everyone. Well, please like and subscribe. No reason to play that sound again, but like, subscribe, and comment below. The Dude and Grim Show. We are out.
Scratch a Track is produced by the Dude and Grim. Additional music provided by More in the Tins. Copyright 2021. The Dude and Grim Show.